Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Women in Football series continues. I got a returning guest who's been on the show multiple times, and it's always good to have her back. But before I bring her on, let's get it. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with a new episode. Women in Football series continues. Like I said, I got a returning guest back on the show. But before I bring her in, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, wherever you consume podcasts: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, PS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network Roku channel. You can get all the shows there, streaming on those platforms. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky as well. So let me bring in my guest, one of my favorite people in this industry. She's a sports reporter and anchor for WNYT News Channel 13. I mean, this is a busy woman. So I got her locked down for a few minutes. So, but you caught her on. She was on ESPN, First Take, Rising Media Stars. Can't forget about that as well. So, welcome back to the show, Chyrstal Stone. How you doing, Chrystal? Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I'm doing good, Courtney. So good to see you. As you were doing your intro, I was just thinking back, like, dang, how long have we known each other?
It's been a minute.
Like 2017, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Long time. We've been long in the tooth.
Yes. Long in the tooth.
And I've been on your podcast.
Yeah. I've been on yours, been on mine many times, and we always talk. I know, I never hold against you. They're a Cowboys fan. I don't hold that against you at all.
You know what? Speaking of, congratulations are in order. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles and Courtney Harden and his family for winning the championship. I do remember the last time we spoke was a year ago before the season started, right?
Yep.
Congratulations.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And I, you even, like I said, Cowboys fan, Eagles fan, we always have great conversations, and we're realistic and fans, because, both of our fan bases can be a little, I'll say they can be a little tad over the top. I'll keep it at that. And, but yes, we are very realistic. We always have realistic expectations for our teams. But I enjoy having you on, as always. And you said, we've known each other. We've connected, you said 2017, 18, something like that. So you're talking 7-8 years of doing this and podcasting, and now you're a sports reporter and anchoring, and my podcasts have changed over the years as well. So so glad that we're still can connect and really chop it up too as well.
Yeah, and I love the things that you're doing and watching your podcast grow, and especially seeing how much you're highlighting women in sports. I think that's a beautiful thing and something we need to continue to see. So I appreciate your efforts in that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Really appreciate that. And like I said, you always have we talk at least maybe once, twice a year, and we always have good conversations. So, and then football is always the time that it brings us together. So the season's getting ready to start right around the corner. And before we start recording, we were talking about how this is like our favorite time of the year, not just football from the pro to high school to pro, but also US Open and everything too. So yeah, August and September is always a good time for sports.
This is the beginning of my year. I always feel like January 1st may be the official new year, but for me, just as a sports lover, this time of the year is the beginning of a new year for me. Obviously, like you said, football season, US Open, like the WNBA season is coming to an end. The championship to look forward to for that. Like I love this time of the year.
Me too. Yep, WNBA, as you said, that's at the towards the end, getting ready to go towards the end of the year, and then the NBA starts in October, September, really end of September, early October. So yeah, it's a fun time to be a sports fan and everything too. But how's everything going with you? I know you said you started back playing tennis and everything, and like I said I see all your on Instagram and Twitter. You've been busy with work and everything. But how's everything going with you this over this past year?
Yeah, everything's been going good. Working up here in Albany, New York for News Channel 13, covering tons of sports, everything from high school through professional, all kinds of different things. I love that I've been able to touch a little bit more on track and field.
Mm-hmm.
And I highlighted athlete of the week every week, and I'm coming across a lot more track and field athletes, and there's some stars here in the capital region on the high school level. So that's been really exciting and fun. And yeah, it's been a grind. It continues to be a grind, as you know, as I told you last year. But what's great about this year in particular is, as you mentioned, I picked up the tennis racket again for the first time in years, probably 10 years since I picked up my tennis racket. I played in high school. That was like my number one sport. And this summer, my coworker encouraged me to come out and play with him. And we found a tennis clinic at one of the parks here, and we just joined. And I've been playing almost every week. It's been so exciting, and it's something to look forward to every week outside of work.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, you need that time outside of work, especially in the summer. Outside, you're in upstate New York, so where I was born and raised near there, and yeah, it gets hot. Those days get a little hot up there during, especially July and August, for sure. And it's East Coast weather, as you know, it gets that way. It's always different, but you got those days where it gets a little too hot. But it's good to be outside as well.
I don't know about a little bit too hot.
Oh, true.
So this is like light.
That's true.
Work.
That's true. That is true. That is so
This
true.
is nothing. I mean, I lived in Phoenix as well for a whole year. So
Yeah,
talk about heat, talk about summer. This is a little fall in Texas.
Yeah, Texas is a little that's a little different. That's a little different heat. That in Phoenix is a little different heat. So yeah, you're right about that. You're sure right about that and everything too. So but yeah, I was just in Albany. Ooh, 2 months, June, end of June. My goddaughter, she graduated in Albany too, Anissa Jeter. And so she's yeah, my best friend lives in Albany. So yeah, his daughter was just up there. It was just graduation. So yeah, he told me to give you a shout out because James Jeter.
Cool.
He said give you a shout out. He said,
is that the Jayla Jeter?
Jayla Jeter, yes.
She's a rock star.
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed shooting her and following her. Remind me, she had Shaker. Which high school?
Shaker. Yep.
High school. Yeah, she is a rock star on the court. And I know I think I saw the comment where he mentioned make sure she's one of the.
Yes.
So News Channel 13, for the audience who doesn't know, News Channel 13 is the NBC affiliate in Albany, and we have a Rensselaer Honda All-Star basketball team. It's like highly coveted. It's really political, like who gets on. Mm-hmm. And a part of my job is to go shoot a whole bunch of games and the prospects for the season. And, there's a whole committee that chooses the All-Stars. And I think your friend is hoping that Jayla kind of gets the nod this year. And I bet she's going to be one of the top picks.
Yeah, she's that's my goddaughter. She's been playing ball for a long time and really putting in the work. And yeah, so he been nudging me. He said, "Hey, you know Chrystal," so he just joking around. He said, give her a little nudge." I said, "Well, I'll give her a shout out. How about that?" And everything.
I don't do the picks now.
I know that's right. Yes,
I do the shooting of the games.
The shooting of the games. Right. Yes, and we know how political and we know all that. Yes, it could definitely be. But yeah, so yeah, definitely. Yeah, she'll definitely be working hard and playing varsity again this next upcoming season as well. So, but yeah, let's get into what we know best, the NFC East, and let's talk about your Dallas Cowboys and it's been a circus this year so far. But let's start with the news, Micah Parsons, and what was your thoughts first and foremost? Your best player, and now he demands a trade, whole contract thing. But I'll let you tell it. What's your feeling on this? How it's been handled by Jerry Jones or mishandled by Jerry Jones? And do you really think they actually are going to trade Michael Parsons, or is this just a smokescreen just for a negotiation tactic?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to trade Michael Parsons. Jerry
Yeah.
Jones has been very vocal about that, but I do feel like I get that it's business. I get that these things happen. Players ask for trades, leverage, all of those things. But at the end of the day, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I feel like Jerry Jones has not been honest with this fan base. So I'm going to go back to 2 seasons ago at the end of the 2023 season, which crashed and burned. And after that season, I think in that January, Jerry Jones told the media, basically the fans, that the Dallas Cowboys organization is going to go all in next season.
Oh, yeah.
A few weeks later, he defined what all in meant, and he defined it as signing Dak, CD, and Michael Parsons. Now, the expectation to sign all three may not have been realistic in that particular offseason. He did get Dak and CD done, but the expectation was that Micah would be next in line.
Right.
To go from being next in line to they haven't even had negotiations yet is just unfathomable. Like, I don't understand why we are here right now, to the point to where, and I really appreciated that Micah Parsons has laid it all out. It said, this is what happened step by step. My agent's been trying to call Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. They haven't gotten back to him. And it's been disingenuous. And I get that Jerry Jones, and he just said it the other day, right, at the Netflix premiere of whatever this Cowboys documentary is going to be. He said that the Cowboys is like a soap opera, and if it gets quiet, he's going to stir something up. He does that better than anyone, I think, in sports. And sure, that brings more eyeballs, more publicity, good or bad, to the Dallas Cowboys. But at the end of the day, what is it doing for the culture of this team, right? And when you look at the new head coach and Brian Schottenheimer, he has said that he wanted to come in and change the culture of the Dallas Cowboys. That's kind of hard to do when your owner and your general manager continues to muck things up.
Yeah.
to mess the culture up, right?
Yeah.
Optics wise, it just does not look good. And I just put something on TikTok. I think it was the DLLS outlet down in Dallas. There was a scrum after a training camp. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but they asked Jerry Jones, like, flat out, like, what's holding up the contract negotiations? And he kind of stumbled over his answer and eventually said, nothing. Then why are we not getting the deal done? But later in that scrum with the media, he was asked, well, the understanding, the claim is that you all maybe have made some type of gentleman's deal, right, on a napkin or whatever, had a handshake, and this needs to be put in writing. And he mentioned how he bought the Cowboys in 1989 on a handshake. Bro, it's not 1989.
No.
It's not how business works, like at this level. You know what I mean? With millions of dollars on the line here with these players, like, they have so much more leverage and empowerment right now that you just can't just do a handshake and not get your agents involved. And so there's just a lot of things. Like, it's the issue with the agent. I don't know if you remember earlier in this offseason, he mentioned to the media that he didn't even know who Micah's agent was. Like,
I remember.
The most successful agents, like, of all time in the NFL, David Mugoleta, right? So what is that about? And I think from an optics perspective, it just does not look good. From an outside looking in, if you're a free agent and you're considering where to go, why the heck would you come to the Cowboys and get treated like that? It's like, it's the disrespect that's coming along with it as well. Because all of these negotiations or the disagreements or whatever, they could be hush hush. Jerry Jones could just come out and say, hey, we're working on it. We're working on something, right? He doesn't have to come out and stir the pot, but that's what he sees as successful. And if you remember, I told you last year, I feel like Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys like a business that just happens to play football. That's just what it is for him. That's the priorities, right? Why is it not the priority to take care of your player, or to even make sure, just from a relationship perspective, although a deal has to get done and things have to get ironed out, but just from a relationship perspective, that you and this player are good. You did draft him in the first round. So
Right.
obviously there's something good there, right? 4-time Pro Bowler. He's the star in the heart of this defense. So let's not play in Micah's face either, right? So
Yep.
yeah, it's been really, really disappointing. I don't know how it's going to play out. I know they're going to sign him. It's just a matter of when, and if Micah has to wait another year, right? Play throughout the end of his contract, and if they get it done next year or next offseason. But it's really disheartening because while other teams get to focus on the excitement of the season, the X's and the O's, the additions, the injuries, blah, 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 Cowboys fans, we have this, there's always some kind of drama, and the drama always stems from something that Jerry Jones is doing or he's not doing, and it's being done purposely, right? Yeah. It's like at what point do you expect the Cowboys fans to continue to sign up for this every single season?
Right. Very well said. And I can't disagree. I agree with you wholeheartedly on this, because I've been, been watching this, how it's playing out and everything too. And it is very disrespect, and it feels personal. And I think someone did say that. I can't remember who said it, but someone did say it feels different. This one feels different than Dak and the CeeDee Lamb. It just, for some reason, it's like a personal thing he has against Micah Parsons. I don't know what it is. It is a disrespect. And as you said, they should have already got this deal done and taken care of. But again, Jerry, he's kind of playing around. But he just said recently, that it's like a soap opera. He said we have this whole, like it's a circus. And with this whole Micah Parsons, he's been loyal. He's even said, I want to be a Cowboy for life. So this is the first time I think he just had enough and said, you know what, I want to be traded. Here's my trade request. I want to be traded. So, he said, I understand his business. And then Jerry Jones saying a lot of slick stuff too about his podcast and all these things. And yes, Michael Parsons is a different player, a different type of person, but he's not Dak Prescott or anything like that. But that's what makes a football team, different personalities. And Michael Parsons is now saying, I want to be traded. And like you said, going into this season, it's not a good look. And when you have an unknown that is Micah going to sign, or what's going to happen. Like I said, I think he will play. He definitely going to play this year for sure. My only concern, and I ask you this, if they don't sign him, franchise tag. I mean, they're not going to. They don't want to get rid of Micah Parsons. They could franchise tag him for the next couple of years too.
Yeah, that's what I think it may come down to, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It may come down to a franchise tag. And just back to your point about Micah Parsons wanting to be a Cowboy for life, the fact that he's still showing up to training camp, still engaging with his teammates, he's literally steps away from Jerry Jones. He wants to be there. In fact, he just posted a TikTok, or someone did, where it was DeMarvion Overshown's birthday, and he at the birthday cake, like there was a lot of team members at someone's place, and he had the birthday cake and they were all celebrating Overshown's birthday. There was the trend that he did with Brian Schottenheimer. He called a few teammates, but the trend where the guys are calling their friends and just saying goodnight, like say goodnight.
I saw that.
Right? He did it with Schottenheimer, and that gave us a nice glimpse into Schottenheimer, like into his personality and how he's engaging with the players. And it actually won a few points for me for a coach that's going to be going into his first year. Like, wow, he's really already building these really close relationships with his players. Micah Parsons wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. Yeah. It's really unfortunate that Jerry Jones is playing these games. But my other point is Jerry Jones, above all else, values loyalty. And what he insinuated in the scrum that I mentioned before is that they kind of had this agreement, right? Unofficial agreement in place. And now Micah Parsons is trying to get his agent involved, and maybe some bullet points change. I don't know. But Jerry Jones sees that as being disloyal, right? Like, oh, now you're bringing your agent, but we already had like this agreement. But how can you expect anyone at this level of play at this time in sports that someone's going to sign a deal without their agent being involved? Especially someone like Lamar Jackson, who had it figured out, right? So I think loyalty plays a lot in this. And it's unfortunate because it seems like Jerry Jones has not learned from the lessons of his past when it comes to how things went down with Jimmy Johnson, the Super Bowls that were left on the table because of his so
Yes.
with Jimmy Johnson, like at
Mm-hmm.
least 3, 4 more Super Bowls could have been coming out of that team that Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay, because you were worried about who got the credit and whatnot. So were the lessons learned? I don't think they have been. I think if he sees you as disloyal, watch out.
Yeah. Watch out. Right. Right. And that's the thing. It's almost, you said, the negotiation. I mean, it's been from even back in the day, Emmitt Smith, and now you said with Dak Prescott and CD Lamb, and it's like take care of those players like immediately. Ezekiel Elliott. It's like he takes care of them, but it's just, you would think you want to be a year or two ahead, and he doesn't seem to want to do that. And then you said, even with the Eagles on the other side, they're trying to take care of as many players as they can, but that's the difference of the front offices. Is the Eagles are looking. It's like, okay, we're gonna lose. We know we're gonna lose some guys, and we're okay with that. But we will re-sign the ones we need to keep building and everything too. But Jerry Jones, you said he's running it like a business. He's running it like our president runs the country right now. Our current president of the country right now. So it's almost the same way. He's running like a business. And I know our president was a businessman, but it's almost the same. It's almost very similar. He's running he's running his football team like a business.
And to that point, I feel like Jeffrey Lurie, I've said this before on your podcast, I feel like he's running circles around Jerry Jones as manager, right? But at the end of the day, the number that means the most to Jerry, not those Super Bowls or the wins, the number that means the most to Jerry is the one that just came out 2 days ago, the valuation of the Dallas Cowboys.
The dollars, yep.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Buying the team for what, $180 million or something like that?
Yeah.
That's what means the most to him. Yep. And then you Netflix movie coming out. I mean, it's money, cash. Yes. Get enough wins to keep the Cowboys fans happy,
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. And it's really unfortunate because it's a detriment to the actual team and in the fan base.
Yeah, yep, you're right. Just like Randy Moss said, straight cash, homie. So that's what Jerry Jones is all about. And
did you see the Denzel Washington thing on first
Yes,
day?
I did. Yes. Mm-hmm.
All money ain't good money, Jerry.
All money ain't good money. Yeah. He said, but I'm not here to talk about them. That's what he said. I'm not here to talk about my movie and everything too. But yeah. So and Michael seeing all the other guys getting paid. The Max Crosby's and the Myles Garrett's. So he's seeing all that. So he's thinking, hey, I'm just as good as these guys. I need to be in that same, and he does. He deserves to be in that same. I mean, Trey Hendrickson. He's even. I think he just came back, I believe, but he's still looking for a new contract too. But he's like, hey, these guys are getting paid, so it's my time too. And he's right, and he's their best player. He's the Cowboys' best player. On either end. So they got to pay him. they have to pay him for real.
And he's been honest. I think what people are missing too, like you really had to read, I call it a manifesto, but you have to read the post that he made, because he said even when he saw those other guys getting paid, he knew he just needed to be patient. He wasn't going to push it. We're talking about last offseason or offseason before. He wasn't going to push it. He was going to wait. He said he knows he left money on the table because he actually wanted to get signed 2 years ago or at the offseason before, because he knew if I get signed first, I'm going to make less money than the last guy to get signed. But that's how badly he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy for life. And so you hear that, you wonder what's the conversation on the other side from Jerry Jones?
Yeah, right.
That's not being connected here. Where is the disconnect between what Jerry Jones wants and what Michael wants?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And as you said, he saw the Myles Garrett contract and he's probably thinking, okay, I just, they're setting the market. So now the market is set, it's always the next man up. And he's up next. So he'll get his money. He's going to get it somehow, some way. He's going to get his money. If not, it's going to be a Kirk Cousins situation where you just keep getting franchise tags, just getting 25, 30 million a year or whatever the market is. And I know he wants a long-term deal, guaranteed money. So we'll see how this all plays out. Let's talk about the Cowboys in the upcoming season. Your expectations. Dak is back, coming off an injury. He's a year older, and now the offense, new coaching. So it's going to be a new offense there. So, but what's your expectations with the Cowboys this upcoming season?
Yeah, the bright spot of this season for me going into it is the fact that Dak is healthy and this passing attack. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens, they're going to be elites. That's my dog. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
But that's going to be like an elite passing attack that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing week in and week out. And obviously having Dak healthy and having him healthy for the year. I'm going to claim it.
Okay.
Positive that Micah Parsons does get signed and that gets situated and kumbaya, we're all good and
all good, man.
Out with the defense, yes. And then one thing that's been coming out of, or I should say, about the receivers is the depth of that position. That position, amongst many of the others, has the most depth, right? After CeeDee, after George Pickens, you got Jalen Tolbert, Jake Ferguson, and Schumacher. So there's a lot of depth there that I'm looking forward to. Our passing attack, I don't think is going to be a problem. Like Dak is going to be able to sling it and we're going to get some yards. And then linebacker Sam Williams, he missed all of last season because he tore his ACL during last year's camp, but he's back and the reports are he's killing it. He's doing well. He actually picked Dak off for pick 6. I think it was today, actually, the last day of training camp. So he's showing really good signs. So those are the positives. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Got it.
and Courtney, those are the only positives.
Okay. Yeah,
right. My list is short.
yes. It's just a short list, but again, like you said,
that's all I got for you as far as positives.
Yes.
As far as what I'm concerned about, I won't say negatives. Things that I'm concerned about.
You're concerned, yes.
Yeah, this run defense it's still going to be a problem this season.
Yeah.
In this preseason opener, they allowed 180 yards against the Rams, and it's like, the Rams again, right? With their run game. So this is still going to be an issue going into this next season. And then, of course, if you don't sign Micah, like there's still question marks. I should say, whether or not you sign him, there's still going to be question marks, and then definitely along that defensive line, defensive tackle is an issue, right? So I'm worried. I'm worried. And then the first game is against the Eagles.
Yes.
And I look back at the last year's 2 matchups, and I think the first matchup, Cowboys held Saquon to like 66 yards, but they still allowed like 160 plus yards because Jalen Hurts ran for 56.
Yeah, he ran. Yeah.
And in the next game, Saquon ran for like 160 yards. So I just feel like it's going to be a problem that first game. I'm just going to go ahead and give the L. Like Cowboys, because they just have not figured it out, and they have not shored up those holes in time for week 1 of this season. And then there's injuries. I think another big thing is that the Cowboys are going into the season already banged up. So DeMarvion Overshown, cornerback Kalen Carson, offensive lineman Tyler Guyton. There's so many injuries just going into the season that they're going to be at a disadvantage on week 1. So that makes me sad. And then the running game.
I say running game. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they finished 30th last season, and has there been any major improvements? What I'm hearing from camp is that Javonte Williams is shining, and he may take the number 1 spot. But then you have injuries to Miles Sanders and your rookie in Jadon Blue. They may not come until a little bit later into the season. So it's like, well, what's the run game going to look like? However, I would say that Brian Schottenheimer said that one of his focuses coming into the season was addressing the run game. So let's see what he can do and what he can work out there. But I'm worried about all of that. And then you have Trayvon Diggs that's hurt as well. Like the injuries before
piling up. Yeah.
First freaking kickoff for the season are worrisome. And they're in areas that are already weak and have been weak for the Cowboys.
Yeah. The run game, and that was one of the questions I had too, is all right, who's coming out? Like who's gonna win the number 1 spot? Is it gonna be by committee? But he said that injuries are already piling up, so the depth is already being questioned as it is. And he said Javonte Williams, maybe they said a change of scenery will help him, but he's had a couple of down years and he's been injured too. So and I know Schottenheimer, he wants to run the football as well. So it might be one of those things where they're going to be a one-dimensional team, which they should, like you said, that passing attack should be good, should be really, really good. But now teams will know, okay, they're not going to beat us on the run. They're not going to beat us with the run. Okay, we'll sit back and Dak can, if healthy, can still sling it. And he put up big numbers the last time he was healthy for a full season, was in the MVP race. So he's still more than capable, even though he's a year older. He's still more than capable. And now he's got definitely two legit receivers on the outside. So that, I think you said, that's definitely a plus. But not, at least not negative concern is that you said the run defense and the run game. So it's like on both ends of the spectrum for that. So yeah,
and I would say that cannot get hurt. Do you understand?
And he cannot. No,
Prescott cannot get hurt. No. There is no SOS. There's no, because Joe Milton is not ready. I'm sorry.
No.
But Joe Milton is not ready. Just seeing him in the preseason opener, he really struggled. And I know that Schottenheimer is trying to get him more reps and trying to get him going. But what was unfortunate about the preseason game is that you really didn't get to see what was happening with the other receivers and what they could bring, because Milton was throwing balls all over the place. So what the Cowboys are losing, unfortunately, is that reliability that they had in Cooper Rush. So that cannot get hurt. What I would say about that passing game too, listening to Schottenheimer this week, he said he goes to bed at night so excited about this passing attack. He just cannot wait. He's salivating at the thought of Dak, CD, and George Pickens. So I'm looking forward to that too. But one positive that could come out of this, you mentioned, as far as the run game or the lack of run game, if the passing attack opens up the run game, right?
Yeah.
And because of that threat, you're taking more guys out of the box and you can start to run that ball a little bit more. Hopefully that could be something that equalizes it for the offense.
Yeah, for sure. And with George Pickens leaving Pittsburgh and now going to Dallas, he's thinking, and he's playing for a contract himself, so he's motivated, and playing with a quarterback like Dak who can, like I said, can sling it and everything too. We see CeeDee Lamb legit number one wide receiver, one of the top 3-4 wide receivers in the league. You say you got George Pickens on the other side. Now they can't double CD as much anymore, so that opens up, and George Pickens looks like he's motivated. He wants to prove that Pittsburgh made a mistake, and now he's playing for a contract. So him being on the other side, that definitely will help that passing attack. So you said, you're right, it might open up the run game as well. So that is a positive. The passing attack is definitely a positive, but he said all the other things could be one of those seasons where you're thinking, okay, can they improve? Hopefully Mike is there, because if he's not there, it's really that's a really bad defense for real.
Yeah, and you know what I'm sitting here thinking about while you're talking, I'm like what are the positives? What are the positives and what are the question marks? And when it comes to that run game and even the passing attack, the offensive line, there's so many question marks because Tyler Guyton is not back yet. Tyler Booker, the first round draft pick, he was the only healthy rookie that did not play in the preseason opener, but he's expected to play this Saturday. So you don't know how this configuration of this line is going to work, and are they going to get enough reps in by week one, and how long, offensive lines take a while to gel. It's not already gelling. It takes a while to gel. How long is it going to take for this iteration of the Cowboys offensive line to gel? I know they brought in Lyle Collins too as some reinforcement. Brought him back to Dallas. But the question, I think, if Dak steps back, and goes for a throw, I know we're Cowboys are good. But if you hand the ball off, I'm like, I don't know. And then on the defensive side, please don't run the ball. Whatever y'all do, just Saquon can sit out. Let him get his yards, later on in the season with the other teams.
Not the first game. They're gonna try to run. The Eagles are gonna try to run that ball right through them, man. So I'm excited, for the opening night, and when they said Cowboys Eagles, yes, okay, this is NFC East. Let's get it. So, but let's talk about the rest of these NFC East real quick. We did talk a little bit about the Eagles and the defending champions, but what about Washington Commanders? Is there any any field. I mean, they look like they can take another step forward. I mean, they went to the NFC Championship surprise. I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card at all. But now the Commanders got a legit QB and everything, and then the Giants, they got a plethora of quarterbacks, and they're trying to improve as well. But how do you see the rest of the NFC East shaking out?
So we're just gonna put the Eagles aside, like they winning, like they good, because you didn't.
Yeah, we should be
okay. That's
yeah,
cool.
we should be okay. Unless you want to, you can add some things. You can add some things if you want with the Eagles, but let's talk about Washington and Giants first.
We're gonna talk about second, third, and fourth place, right? Because
yes. Yes, we're on the same page. Even though there hasn't been a repeat division winner in quite some time, but Washington, I think, they're the closest to the Eagles. But how do you think the rest of the NFC East is shaking out?
Bearing any like huge decline with the Eagles, like I agree with you. I feel like that they will be the ones to win the division, the favorites. But the Commanders kind of scare me a little bit.
Yeah.
Now the question mark is Jaden Daniels going to go through a sophomore slump? Mm-hmm. Not everyone does, right? He could excel and get better and not have any setbacks. And then you look at the weapons that they added with Deebo Samuel. I still think he's a scary player. And then speaking of scary Terry, getting that done. So he's going to have some enforcements there. And then they added Laramie Tunzel on that offensive line to help there. So offensively, they're going to look kind of scary. Defensively, maybe where they struggle a little bit. They struggled there last year as well. I think they allowed 55 points in the NFC Championship game. Like that. So that's going to be an issue, but they're in a win now mode. So they have like 20 players who are at least 30 years old. Like team. Okay, you're woman. All right. So the advantage of that is that you have so much veteran experience. They brought in Von Miller, who's 36 years old, right?
Yeah.
You have veteran experience, you have championship experience. To help lead a team with a very young quarterback. So that could be something that works out for them. I do have my eyes on Washington, and I'm afraid of them. I'm just going to say it. Now, the Giants, I actually had the pleasure of going to their training camp and covering their training camp. 13, right? About 2 weeks ago. And my takeaways from that training camp specifically, and even from the preseason game, is I don't know what they're going to get out of Russell Wilson. So the series that I was able to shoot and watch, they weren't clean, right? Yeah. But when Jackson Dart came in, he was on fire.
Yeah.
That particular practice that I watched, that was on Tuesday, the 29th was the one that I was there for. He was lights out. And he obviously played really well in the preseason game too. What I like about him is that he didn't walk away from that game like, okay, I had a pretty good debut. I'm good. No, no, my performance was mid. He goes, I could have done this better. And even Brian Daboll said, he did what we expected him to do, but he needs to work on some things. So the expectation, the bar is being set high for him, which I think is really good. And I wouldn't be surprised if the reins get handed over to Jackson Dart sometime in the middle of this season.
Right. Very early.
Russell Wilson, but I just feel like that's something that they could possibly do. Outside of him, I felt like Tyron Tracy and Devin Singletary were really good in the run game, just watching them in person. Malik Neighbors, obviously, a superstar. Yep. But that defense, that defensive line.
It's going to be scary.
Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. I mean, Dexter Lawrence, they are going to be scary on that end of the ball for sure. The question is, how many points can they put up to actually win a game?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree 100%. And to go back to the Jackson Dart, he did bring like some excitement and I guess the youth and everything too, and that would jumpstart a team like the Giants that they would need. I think Russell Wilson. I mean, he's completely almost done, and it's just now is he here? How much time he said does he have with this team and in this season in itself? How much leash is he going to have? Because like I said, if he struggles and he say they 0-3, 0-4, in New York, New Jersey area, that media is going to be like, yeah, we need to make a change. And for Brian Daboll, especially, he doesn't have much time either. If they struggle again this season, so they're gonna have to really, he's gonna have to really look at it from that perspective. Like, okay, how much time are we going to give Russell Wilson, and are we going to go with the rookie? I think that's something to monitor for sure.
What I would say though, watching all the all the quarterbacks play at that training camp, if Jackson Dart doesn't hit, they're in trouble. Because I love Jameis Winston down, but he was struggling. Like I literally was shooting it.
With
TV camera, the mispasses, the miscommunication, the inability to move the ball. Like it was a struggle. And it was a struggle in the preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. Tommy DeVito, he was solid. He was solid at the training camp that I saw, and he was obviously solid in the preseason game. But if your 1, 2, 3 is Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, and Jameis Winston, I don't know. Jameis Winston, and granted, he's not out there with like the number ones, when he's practicing and whatnot. And obviously, he wasn't out there with the number ones for preseason, but I even read today that he struggled. Or I should say, the offense struggled to move the ball. Yeah. So much so that Russell Wilson that Jameis Winston had to bring the guys together in a huddle to give them like a pep talk.
Jeez, that's not good.
That offense is going to be very interesting. It's going to be hit or miss, and I think the biggest question mark is what are they going to do? How are things going to settle at quarterback season?
Yes. Yeah, because they definitely need someone. And like you said, with Malik Neighbors, they need someone to actually deliver the ball. Now, he was getting the ball even with that poor quarterback play last season, but force feeding him a lot of targets and things like that. And I figured when they got Jameis Winston, I was like, okay. And then they signed like Russell Wilson like a week, 2 later. I'm like, okay. And then now you drafted Dart. It's like, well, you still got Tommy DeVito, you still got Dart. So they're trying to figure. They'll have to figure that out. I'm sure Russell Wilson. I know that he was already named a starter and everything too. But you're right. I think will they be able to stop anybody? Like, can they score enough and can they stop anybody? The defensive line's fine, but that secondary back there too might struggle. So they might have to get into some shootouts, even though that defensive line is scary for sure.
Did you see that pass, Jackson Dart to Lil Jordan Humphrey?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
In that pass, I shot that similar pass at training camp. At training camp, he found Lil Jordan Humphrey in the corner of the end zone deep. Same thing. It was like the highlight of the training camp day, that particular day. So they already have a really good connection. And I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see your even as a rookie, like he's coming in and he already has a really good connection with Lil Jordan Humphrey. Who does Russell Wilson have that connection with? And that's going to remain to be seen because we're not going to see those reps in preseason. We're going to have to wait until the season starts.
Yeah, for sure. And just to get back to the Commanders, and like you said, they have a legit quarterback finally for the first time in years, what they could be excited about and fans could be excited about going on that run last season, getting to the NFC Championship. And Jay Daniels, and you're right. Let's hope he doesn't have one of those sophomore slumps like a CJ Stroud. I've been hearing that's a possibility. Is now teams now have tape on him. Okay, how can we defend him? But he was so good last season as a rookie. He had no fear. He was cool in the pocket and running, the rushing, and all that, and can attack you from deep. Yeah, so he's already like climbing up the quarterback ladder of being one of the top guys. But now he said, let's see it again this season. He said their defense is questionable, but offensively they should be good. Like they should be really, really good. I think they'll definitely resign Scary Terry, McLaurin, that whole thing. So Washington, they're the one team that really is scary for real. They are. I can definitely see that. Yes, they are.
One spot. Because the Cowboys aren't.
But the Cowboys, I think it's gonna go Eagles, Commanders. It'd be like last year: Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, and then the Giants. Yeah. So I feel like that's how it's gonna go. But I think it's gonna be closer. Last year was closer. I think Washington won 11 or 12 games, and the Eagles won 14. So yeah, so it could be. I don't know if Eagles going 14 this year, but But it's going to be close. It's going to be it's still going to it's the NFC East. They're going to
Yeah,
battle it out.
it's going to be a tighter race.
Yeah,
I
sure.
predict the Cowboys will win anywhere from 8 to 10 games.
I agree.
And I think it's going to be a tighter race at the top. Like it may come down to that last game of the season.
It could.
Division. But that order sounds right to me too.
Yep, for sure. All right, last one before I let you go. I wanted to ask what else you got? What you got coming up for this upcoming season? What you can announce? Anything that you're working on or anything
just working.
Yeah, just working.
Just working.
Okay. All right.
Just working. I'm still really thrilled to be a part of Rising Media Stars and the opportunities that come out of that. And just so your audience knows, Rising Media Stars is a mentorship group for up and coming Black women in sports broadcasting. So we get mentored by the illustrious LaChina Robinson,
shout out.
Broadcaster with ESPN and many other outlets, and just learning so much and getting so many opportunities. And the women that I've met throughout that group have helped me grow so much in the last year, and it's some change that I've been a part of the program. So that's been great. And, still plugging away and still covering Albany sports and everything from high school to the pros and doing the thing.
Shout out to Simone Stanley. That's part of the Rising Stars. Yes. Shout out to her. My
Eagles. Always be trying me though with the Eagles.
my fellow Eagle fan and everything too. But yes, there's an incredible LaChina Robinson doing her thing with that as well. Last question, I wanted to pick your brain on this deal with ESPN or Disney. Getting the NFL Network and all that. That's huge and everything too. But the red zone and everything too. What'd you think of that deal in the NFL getting 10% of ESPN? The NFL couldn't just they guys like, well, we got to get a piece of this too. So but what'd you think of that whole deal with Disney actually getting the rights to NFL Network, red zone and everything else?
Yeah, I'm very interested. One thing I do pay attention to a lot is how the sports industry, the media industry is moving and evolving, the streaming partners, the licensing deals, these media rights drive everything. So the ESPN getting NFL is all about getting those media rights and getting that package. They're trying to compete. I think it was Goodell who said he's not trying to compete with, I forget who he said, but he was like, no, we're trying to compete with like Amazon and Google.
Amazon and Apple. Yep.
These streaming partners who are trying to step into the sports realm even more, and they got money, right? And so they can afford these media rights. But as far as the NFL Red Zone coming to ESPN, and Pitaro or the CEO of ESPN, he did say that the journalistic integrity will remain the same. But I just feel like if there's some major scandal, some major controversy, how much is having that 10% going to impact the reporting?
Good point. Yeah.
And that's my biggest concern. When I first saw that deal, I was like, we kind of lose. Now, I think that's always been there, right? To a certain extent, that's always been there. I think we really do lose that delineation between, hey, you're over here, you're over here. Hey, ESPN got to stay alive. I mean, ESPN is doing everything, right? They're doing the direct to customer,
direct to consumer,
thing for $30. I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but let me see what they're talking about. Right. But that's the industry, right? Everyone's trying to figure out how to stay alive. And I think what's unfortunate is this is all because of cable cutting, right?
Yeah.
Now we've got to start paying as much as we were paying when we were paying for cable.
Yeah.
So you calculate all the streaming apps that you have to buy to stay on top of all the sports. We're basically back to what we were paying initially. But it's interesting to see where things go. And, the funny thing about sports is like, it's not like we're just going to say, okay, that's it. No, we want to watch our teams and we're going to figure it out. Right. So, I don't know. I do miss NFL kind of having its own entity.
Yeah, me too.
Network, but I mean, if ESPN can do it, they
They were the network to do it for sure. I agree. I mean, we could have the whole podcast on that, but it's interesting because I pay attention to all that too, and I love it. And you said all these streaming sites, because look at you have all the NFL now, games on Netflix, games on Peacock. So the NFL is just everywhere. The NBA and they just had their deal. Their new TV deal kicks in this next season upcoming season. Now the WNBA, what's going on there, the collective bargaining agreements coming up there, and then the rights and things like that. So yeah, like I said, like sports, everything's changing, it evolves and everything too. But I'm with you with now with the red zone going over there. I think I'll make changes. That's what I'm thinking, because it, like inside the NBA now going to ESPN. I don't know. And now that they just came out and said they get the half hour. They're usually an hour. And I know that might be to start the season, but I don't know. It's the Barkley and Shaq they're not gonna take that lightly at all. I think that's gonna change. They always say things are not gonna change. Goodell said things are not gonna change. It usually does. And everything too. Now the one good thing I do like about this is the talent that NFL Network has now, and being able to, the ones that will transfer over, and now you have the NFL draft cover should be really huge with the talent and everything too. So I'm looking forward to that and see what happens with that. But you said cable cost cutting. Can cable even contend against with the Amazon? That's why the NFL said, yeah, we're trying to contend with Amazon and Netflix and Apple, because those are the big companies. So we're not competing with the NBA or anything like that. We're competing with the major streaming sites. Paramount just got the UFC. So you have that big $7 billion deal. So yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, I really pay attention. Maybe next time we'll do a podcast on media and things like that, because I'm sure we got a lot to discuss on that.
I mean, so much shifting in this landscape, and so many new platforms. I think the cool thing is that there's so many new platforms that give an opportunity for storytelling, because that's what drives sports, right? Yep. So that on that side, that's great. The other side is that you kind of miss, like, I'm glad you mentioned inside the NBA, because I really like that kind of being over here at TNT and like that being in that world, and then coming to ESPN for their NBA countdown show if I wanted to watch that. So now it's all coming together. So you're like, okay, the culture, like, how's that going to shift? And I think people have to also appreciate that with each network, there's a certain culture that comes with it, and let's see. It's one of those things, like, we can't do anything about it. Like,
right,
driving everything, and it's just, where are you deciding to get your games from, and where are you deciding to get your storytelling from? Because that's driving everything.
You said the direct to consumer by ESPN at $30. You're right. People are going to watch. They're going to buy, and they want to watch their sports, or they want to watch their football, they want to watch basketball, whatever it is, they're going to watch. I'm with you. I don't know. That's an additional $30. I'm already paying a lot for all these other, Amazon Prime and all these others. It's like, I got regular ESPN. I have YouTube TV. I think I'm good for now on that. So for sure.
And how far wide do you want to keep stretching as far as the NFL is concerned? If you just want to keep it there, like, how far wide do you want to keep stretching these rights? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think I saw a post of like how many outlets have rights to the NFL, from obviously ESPN, the local television.
CBS.
And I was like, dang, like there's games
they're everywhere. They got hands in everything. They got hands in almost every network, like you said, Netflix and Amazon, and they got it at the Paramount now, CBS, Fox. So I
saw a post that if you wanted to watch every single NFL game this season, you'd have to subscribe to all these different subscriptions. Like, it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars for one season. Wow. If you want to watch everything, and you have to sign up for all the streaming apps that these games are going to be playing on this year.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Read it online the next day to see what happened. I'm going to have to go find the highlights the next day, because
Yeah, I can. Yeah, and we can only watch so much in at one time.
Yeah.
Because even look at YouTube now. I think they're playing a game. I think the first week. I think the YouTube itself is. Yeah, so now they're getting involved. Yeah, it's
That's where all the
yeah,
kids are.
yeah,
All the
yes,
kids are on YouTube
yep.
now.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Nickelodeon, they did a game. They have that for the kids. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think they did Monday Night Football. They
Yep.
have you can watch it there, and then the Manny Cast. So yeah, it's a lot going on. So, but Crystal, it has been a pleasure always catching up with you. And like I said, we got to do, like I said, a media rights, and
Oh yeah.
next time maybe when the W. Hopefully we definitely I wanted to talk about that, but we'll do that on the next one. The WNBA and that whole collective bargaining. We'll see how that turns out, and maybe we'll do something with that, and we'll talk about all the new things that are happening in media for sure. But let everyone know they can follow you on social media, reach out to you, watch you, subscribe, all those things.
Yeah, so if you're living in a capital region, you can watch me on WNYT channel 13. And then on social media, my handle is Chyrstal Stone underscore. That's Crystal with an H. And I'm out there on TikTok and all the things. TikTok is where I kind of get a little fresh with the Cowboys, like how I'm really feeling. So if
Yep.
y'all go there and we let I try to keep it professional on the other platforms, but on
Yes.
TikTok, I really let my emotions out. So you might want to go there. But I think my handle on TikTok is like Chyrstal Stone 402, something like that. But you can
Okay.
find me.
All right. So always follow, subscribe, everything with like, post, share, all those things. So follow Crystal Stone on all those platforms as well. And thank you again. I really appreciate the time as always. Always enjoy where we always connect and everything too. So I really do appreciate that. And yeah, you enjoy the season, and hopefully your Cowboys will be, for your sake, will be competitive and all those things. But hopefully all health, hope everyone stays healthy and it can be a competitive division for sure.
It's all good. Our week is going to start, or I should say, our season is going to start on week 2. So it's all good.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
see you.
yes. Week 2. Yes, yes. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of the summer, Crystal, and we'll be talking soon. But thanks again. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
You too. All right. You have a good one.